And I think some of the people on the conversation say, where do I start my journey? Maybe something, why should I care about it, right? But I think the biggest piece here is, how do we get from that transactional HR measurement or transformation to strategic piece? And I think that's part of the missing source that hopefully we can join some of the dots for you. It can seem daunting, right? So people might be stuck at that transactional piece. But really, we know HR now is pretty much recognized as a strategic part of the business, right? Can we set up the seat? Is there a seat at the table for those things? But how do you make those shifts from transactional HR to strategic HR? And I'm going to call on William in a minute, because I'm sure through your conversations there's many ways that we can do this. But as we speak to people, it's kind of understanding to believe that it is a journey, right? It's not a one size fits all. It doesn't start and begin with delivering X. It's a journey, and a journey also around the skill and the mindset of you guys delivering that, right? And I think on top of that is, the willingness in an organization to adapt, right? So that's one of the things. So lessons and sage lessons I've learned from people more esteemed than myself is, it kind of makes sense to have some kind of objective. Where do we want to go? What do we want to achieve? What are the things we want to do? But then the flip side of that is, well, what? And I think it's understanding what matters to the business. Is it business growth, reducing turnover?
Data in and of itself is, you can start with questioning the data, like what are we looking at? What is it telling us? Which then leads to the story of data, right? So data in and of itself, you can be looking at a spreadsheet and it can tell you something, but you got to be able to ask the question, what is it telling us? What should I be looking for? And not be overwhelmed with looking at a large spreadsheet or looking at a large amount of data and then going, okay, well, what is this data telling me? What am I supposed to do? And then you start asking questions about not the data, but what is the data telling me? Because once you start to kind of figure that out, what I believe is important is then you figure out, how do I then turn what I believe the data is telling me into what I believe the story is? And then who do I need to then talk to about this story?
Getting to the C-suites as one of the things that HR needs to do a better job of, because the C-suites normally talk about data more than anything else, because they are looking at how the sales numbers and all of those things go. HR finds it difficult to talk at the same level, because HR people are primarily focused on people, emotions and stuff like that, because they're trying to keep this organization with not just data driven, but at the same time, people are part of the organization, so they need to take care of that. So that's the struggle normally the HR person has got when talking to C-suites. So having a system, having somebody to help them through the process is always good.